What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Best Young Players in the Future video in Football Manager 2017. Today, in this video, we'll be looking at centre attacking midfielders. So we'll go straight into it. The highest valued player, Alexander Golovin, who is at Manchester City currently. He's the highest value player in 2023. As you know, I simulated 7 seasons, went on holiday 7 seasons to get to this point. So you can see he looks like a pretty well-rounded player. Highest attribute is 17 for technique, concentration, anticipation. Also other key attributes, first touch, long shots, passing, they're 16 as well. Good stamina and natural fitness, 16 work rate. So he's a pretty well-rounded player, but he doesn't strike me as a world-class player. Just a really, really good player. But yeah, as I mentioned, not world-class. And he recently just signed for Manchester City on a free signing. So before then, he was at CSKA Moscow in Russia, and he did fairly well for them. First season, I think, obviously he needed that development, and then he came through and has become a really good player since then. And I guess you can say he's proved himself in the Premier League. Average rating of 7.21, scored 7 goals, attacking midfielder. But again, he doesn't strike me as a world-class centre attacking midfielder. And of course, there may be some central midfield guys, so yeah, I'll really balance it. So obviously, I'll have episodes for centre midfielders, defensive midfielders, and that kind of thing. But Andre Jota, that's exactly what I mean, central midfielder and centre attacking midfielders. He would be really good as a centre attacking midfielder, I would imagine. I'd probably want to play guys that have a bit more better defensive ability in central midfield, even if you still want them to be a creative player, because you still want strong players in midfields. But as you can see, he's worth 39.5 million. He's signed for a couple big teams, so that's a good indication that he is a quality player as well, with PSG and Chelsea forking out the cash for him. Starts at Benfica, again, that first season needs a development, then he gets that, had a couple decent seasons, then caught the interest of PSG, and then PSG, they didn't really like him after the first season. Maybe they signed a better player, another player stepped up, and then moved to Chelsea, and he's performing fairly well. He's probably closer to world class than the previous guy. His attributes are a bit more higher, especially for the passing, and his creative ability would be a bit better, but they're very, very close. Not really much separating them. Then Afonso Sousa, this guy's a bit younger. He's only 23 in 2023, and he's a real player. So he must start like 16 years old. And he looks really good for like a young player. Like, there's not many 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds that turn out really, really amazing. Genuinely, it's players that are maybe 18, 19 that can turn into that world-class player. But Manchester City just signed him for 74 million. So you could probably sign him cheaper than that. In early days, maybe not the first couple seasons, because it's really hard to sign those high potential players when they're 16, 17, 18, but maybe 19, 20 when they're just on the edge of becoming a first team player, when their squad status changed from a hot prospect maybe to a rotation player, backup player. That's when you got to try and sign him to get him at the cheapest. But it's really cool to see this guy has developed almost as good pretty much as those other guys I showed you before in Golovin and Jota. Charlie Musonda from Chelsea. I'm definitely interested in this guy because I'm doing a Chelsea series, and he looks to develop. Like, if he develops into this player, he is just good enough for me. And 26, not going to have more development in him, maybe slightly if he's performing well in training and everything like that. But as an attacking player with the 9 finishing, and that's what he gets to, not what he starts at, he's not going to be getting you a lot of goals. You're going to have to use him in a creative role that is for basically getting assists and not getting in goal scoring positions, because he will most likely not take that. Even though he scored 5 goals in the Premier League, it's not too bad for his rating of 9 finishing, but he's still a good enough player to keep if you are Chelsea. But yeah, you probably want someone better. And also Ante Coric, that's interesting because I've actually signed him for Chelsea. Make sure you go check out the series if you haven't done so yet. It's on my channel. But Ante Coric, this is why I signed him, because this is the kind of development he can have. And 26 years old, really good player. his career looks a bit interesting. Obviously, will be dominating Dynamo and then went to Wolfsburg on a free transfer. That is massive. That's massive for Wolfsburg because then Bayern signed him for 36.5 million. Like, if he's... Oh, man, if you can get him at a stage on a free transfer, like 3-4 seasons in, you're going to make so much money. If you don't want to keep him, you can sell him on. Look at that. That is an amazing deal. Those are the kind of things I like to look at in these kind of saves where I obviously holiday into the future. Those little nice things, they're just interesting to see more than anything. Wolfsburg obviously did amazing work there. I'm almost more focused on them than the player, but that's really good. Dele Alli, we'll just show you him quick as he's still at Tottenham. Didn't really make a move. He's pretty solid attributes and just a quick indication of his performances over the seasons. Nothing crash hot, to be honest, but you probably want to keep him. He looks decent enough and you should be able to utilize him well, I would imagine. And there's some I'm going to be skipping over now because you can kind of tell their ability. I'm going to look for those younger guys. So we're going to adjust the age a little bit. That's going to be a maximum of 26 because that means they would have to be like maximum of 19. Maybe 20, depends, what the dates are, like for their birthdays. But yeah, as you can see, and all those guys I showed you already, they're key. They're those ages. So at most 26. We won't be going older than that. So Alen Halilovic, but he's still pretty known. He's been pretty well known, high potential player. I just want to see his signing fee. What did he sign for? He moved to Hamburg, 4.3 million. That's a pretty good signing for him, I'd like to think. And then you can see Liverpool picked him up, 16 million in the game. Yeah, he's a solid player, but I don't think he's an outstanding for a attacking player, like attacking midfielder or winger. You want them to be doing a bit better, scoring more goals than he has for them. Look, 1 goal in 22 Premier League starts. Even if he's not a striker, you're gonna want more than that from him. So it's interesting how Musonda, with lower finishing stats, obviously, other stats, other attributes take into account, of course, in terms of scoring goals. But yeah, that's interesting. He scored more from that. Jota I showed in the strikers video. Danny Sebalos, he's 26. He starts at 19 years old. He's a good creative player. Not amazing, of course. At Hoffenheim, they signed him on a free transfer. He could be a decent guy to sign on a free transfer. I probably wouldn't spend the money on him outright. There's probably better options. But he is a decent player if he's available for free transfer. But yeah, not really too amazing. Who's Sobhi? He's got some very, very strong attributes, this guy does. At Atletico Madrid. We'll check out his history. He starts at Stoke. Stoke signed him for 4.5 million. And then he did fairly well in the Premier League. So you can see why Atletico Madrid had interest. Hasn't been too amazing for them. Hasn't scored a goal this season. That could be a bit disappointing. But yeah, he's got a lot of dribbling, a lot of flair. You have to use him. You have to use him to his strengths, most definitely, because he has a lot of weaknesses in his game. Then Alex Garcia, he's 25. He doesn't even have a picture. And yeah, he would have started at 19. So Manchester City signed him, then went out on loan to Northampton. Yeah, he's an interesting type. I'm not really too sure about him. Next guy, Amiri, who is at Hoffenheim, 26 years old. He's got other positions he can play, but only natural as a center attacking midfielder. Stays at Hoffenheim, so you can't really see too much in terms of that. Lee Brun, is he a real player or a regen? He's a regen. That regen picture looks really real. Did they update them? I'm not sure, but he looks like a fantastic player. But you can see he's had a lot of movement, a lot of it out on loan, and Arsenal finally giving him a go, and he's doing well. But again, he's not really a concern because he's a regen. Thomas Andrade, he's 26, so he's a real player. No picture though. These kind of players are kind of, you see Barcelona signed him. Interesting is he didn't really turn into amazing. Barcelona don't really get it wrong a lot of the time. Maybe he has more potential. He's just had a bad save, like in this career specifically. Don't really know. I'm not going to try and attempt his name. Is that Oyarzabal? No idea. He's like, look at that, like 17.5 million, and he looks very, very average. So that's a high value for him. Okay, Christian Pulisic. He is a bit better. He's 24. So, yeah, he starts like, 18? 17? Dortmund signed him back. That's interesting. They sold to Southampton. Okay, again, Southampton made a decent amount of profit off of him. Doesn't really perform so well, 24, but maybe this could be the season, and he did all right. 7.12, that is all right for him in terms of his rating, but again, doesn't strike me as too amazing. I'm a bit disappointed with the center attacking midfielders, if I'm honest. There's a few good ones. We'll see some maybe familiar names, Yuri Tielemans. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that look like solid players without being amazing. So for me, we're just going to have to go back and focus on the top 4 maybe. Andre Horta, we'll take the age off just so he can. Golovin, I've seen him in Football Manager how he starts, and he doesn't look that amazing, but he develops a lot. He starts 20 years old, so you would expect he's not going to massively improve. You can still improve as a player at 20, of course, but he does develop into a nice player. How he looks at 20 years old, what I mean is you're not sure if you can see that growth in him. But he does really well. Andre Horta, showed you him as well. Afonso Sousa, in terms of that young 16, 17-year-old that's new to the game, he would be the one, Afonso Sousa. So make sure you look out for him. He starts at Porto B, as you can see there. And Charlie Musonda, again, he has his weaknesses, but he is a decent player. He's got a good mix. It's weird. Like, he's got some really good physicals, then some low ones. Mentally, the same as well. Not really outstanding. Only one yellow attribute, we'll say, is vision. A few 15s, which is not terrible. And then he's got some nice technical attributes. We've got technique 15, passing 15, free kick taking 15, first touch 16, with dribbling 16. So, he's a pretty decent player, but not the same level as Sousa, Horta, and Golovin. And also, we will chuck Ante Coric in that bunch, as well as those top world-class center attacking midfielders, the best center attacking midfielders in the game. But for me, the best, that's the most attractive to me to sign, would be Andre Horta. I just really like his passing ability. He's probably the best, central midfield, attacking midfield type, with the best passer. Like, when you think about the best passers in the world in real life, obviously not playing anymore for Barcelona, but Xavi, you look at him, and other types like Fabregas, those kind of types of central midfielders. Maybe Toni Kroos as well, Real Madrid. These are the kind of, he is that player. He's the best in that style, in my view. So hopefully you enjoyed this video anyway. I'll just go down if you want to see, just some of these values, some notable players, if you want to see how they are at least valued and check them out in your saves. But that will be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Also, leave a comment. Who do you think look the best? Maybe I got it wrong. Who look impressive to you? Who surprised you in terms of how much they developed? That will be it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the very next one.